Alrighty, guys. It's welcome to this Wednesday, October 29th. Let me know if the sound is good. My mic is not turning green or red, so I can't tell if it's supposed to be unmuted. We'll see. Let me know if you can't hear me. It sounds great. Okay, good. So I don't know why the mic's not starting, not showing me the red and green light for on and off. Typical. Anyway, so welcome to this Wednesday. So far, today is announcement Wednesday, Fed meeting coming up, and we're going to see how we're going to see that half quarter point rate cut most likely. And if we don't get that, well, I think it's going to be some issues in the market for sure. At this point, market is still to the upside in the overnight. It's grinding higher. It's they gapped up, and the China news and the so far they have not taken this back anything by any means at all. So nice gap up, moving higher, step at a time, but still grinding higher. And you can see how the we are still in that move out of the middle to the upside. Now we have news today. I'm going to pay attention to the news and like at least talk about it because it's being announced or it is coming out, some of these news reports. So the mortgage applications are up, pretty healthy numbers, up 5 to 10% across the board. So that's a good number. It just came out at 7. At 8:30, we get international trade and retail inventories, wholesale inventories also happening at 8:30. I don't think that's going to do much. Then at 10 o'clock, we get pending home sales numbers. 10:30, we get an oil report. And then, of course, at 2 o'clock, we get our Fed announcement. That's going to be what day is focused on. So I know they popped up the margins and stuff in anticipation of that. But so Fed announcement at 2, and we're probably going to see some action around that. And then at 2:30, the press conference, and probably more activity around that as well. So we're starting off right now, though. I'm gonna probably look for more for a holding day, grinding to the upside, but primarily range bound trading day as they wait for the number to come out. If they start pulling back for some reason, then I would just pay attention to the low of the 6900 level. That's going to be the start thinking about the short side waypoint, if you wish, or a spot where we shift our bias. But looking to buy it early on at 6930s, 6925s, 6915s, down to the 6900s for rotations up. And on the way up, then the short we really have is 6945 to 50, where we're trading right now. So we're up against the highs, and I would just look at this as the market is trying to grind higher. And there's a lot of stuff going on for sure, but there's right now no reason not to trade this from the long side of the market. There's a lot of stuff going on, and I believe also we have big tech earnings coming out today and tomorrow. I forget which companies they are, but there's big tech earnings coming out, and it's going to also be one of those things which chances are we can get some pretty good action on. So big tech earnings, Fed announcement. We have the Asia trip. They're going to be meeting tomorrow and Friday, I guess, on the China. Thursday, I think it is. They're meeting Thursday. So that's going to be that they're like 17 hours ahead of us. So that's going to be pretty much this evening, and we'll see what happens in terms of that news. There are a lot of cross currents going on, but traded from the long side of the market, looking to buy weakness, 6930s, 6925s, 6915s, 6900s for rotations up. It starts trading below that 6900s. I would say take off the long bias and go back range bound. Still looking to buy against these levels on the way down, 6890, 6880, 6865s. If they when they start challenging that gap, that's when I think we have a really good reason to really lean in on the short side now. I would consider a short trade up here at the 69.15s. So if you take these first three levels and they start backing off more than that, there could be a reason to hop on a short trade early on here. At least an attempt to take it down to 6900 and potentially lower. And that could be a potential short trade up to watch for. But I want to be super aggressive on that one. If you get early weakness, we're still looking to buy against those levels 69.30, 69.25, 69.15s. But as I said, I mean, if they start back in the, we're not going to take off the long buys until we get below that 6900s. Below that 69.15s, nice ledge. I would probably look for a short trade. It could be an opportunity there for a run down here to 69. It just depends on what it looks like at the time. So you just look for a potential buying opportunity there. If it looks like they're taking it out or they take it out and you have a shot at getting in on a small pullback, could be worth taking at that point. There's always a risk that there's a fake out and they're going to reverse it in your face. But that's why you keep your stop tight on those trades. And so if you're wrong, just get shaken out and and the trade is over. It's much better to be shaken out early than to get stuck in a reversal when they reverse it right in your face and start running that higher. It's a classic mistake. I've stepped in it several times myself, and it's easy to happen. It happens quickly, and then you find yourself caught. And then the options you have is taking a loss or trying to repair it. And if you start going down the repairing route too aggressively, you'll find yourself in a huge loser. And that's exactly what the what the dynamic is all about, getting people caught on the wrong side and making those kind of mistakes. All right, so we're looking at the NASDAQ and the bonds. Take a look at the bond market first. Not doing much. It's trading around below 119. Hasn't done a whole lot. Pretty range bound market right now. Slow grind to the upside is what's been going on, but they're not directionally moving a whole lot. They're moving a little bit up, a little bit down. Net to the upside is what they has been. As long as they staying below 119, they're going to start off range bound. But before that was 118, right? And now they've been holding this range 118 to 119 for a bit. Let's see if they can clear that 119, 119.10 hurdle and take it above that. I would start off looking for short setups against that. So 119, looking for shorts against the 119s, 119.06s, 119.12s for rotations down. I'm looking to buy against the 1825s, 1820s, 1814 to 16 here for rotations and back up again. This is 12 to 14, 12 to 14 for rotations back up again. So that's kind of the way I'm looking at the bond market. Range bound primarily. They have been drifting to the upside. But it's not by any means anything which I would say, yeah, trade it from the long side of the market or anything like that. I say range bound right now on the bond market. Nasdaq, big tech earnings coming out this week, and that's going to be the big thing. So it's in addition to well, not just the big thing, but it's going to be one of the bigger things. And those comes out, and I think the expectation is going to most of it's going to come out pretty good. We're probably going to see continuation. You see Nasdaq is just absolutely on fire to the upside. Big moves to the upside. Nvidia is about $200. I saw that. That's pretty crazy. So Nvidia is trading at 208 right now. It's up another $6-7 in the overnight. So that's pretty spectacular. That we'll take that any day. So the AI trade is very much alive and well. Quantum stocks backed off a bit though. Um, so on the Nasdaq, looking to buy weakness against the 230s, 26 170s, 26 100s, down to that 26,060s. I'm going to move this guy back up again. So we're in price discovery territory on the Nasdaq. And I would look for a shift of bias. If this starts trading down here to these two levels, the 26,060s and the 26,000s, so these two support areas, below those two, I'm going to start thinking about the short side of the market and further retracement. There's still buying opportunities against these levels on the way down, but you can see there's a lot more range on the Nasdaq to work against. Now, if you want to be aggressive and they start backing off, they take out the 230s and the 160s, could be worth a short trade below the session lows here for a retracement back here to these lows. That could be the first short to look for on the way down if we get more than early weakness. But I would not be super aggressive on it. But the same as the ES, you look for the opportunity, and if the buying opportunity doesn't present itself, it looks like this want to take it lower. You're going to get a couple of opportunities to potentially get on that thing, unless there's a free-for-all selling. But I don't think that's the case right now. Chances are we're going to be range bound, and probably bias is going to probably stay to the upside. But chances are we're going to see more of a consolidation kind of a day, a holding day until we get the Fed number. I say that sometimes after I say that the market just moves. You just find yourself like, oh shit. But anytime you have big news coming out in the late in the afternoon, usually you get more of a holding pattern waiting for that news to come out. So not all the time, but most often. So that's what you're going to be looking for. and then we'll see if they're going to try to back it off further. All right, so looking to buy weakness on the ES and Nasdaq bond market is range bound. Finally, oil and gold. And that guy is gold is back up a little bit. So popping to the upside. Not popping, but they're trading back up again. They have taken out, let me see here. Let me see the level. So we were up against this 39.95s yesterday. The 39.85. So this is the one I was keying in on yesterday. So this is the overnight. So we were up against that 39.95. That was the high of yesterday's day session. They backed off in the session. They started off, and then we started getting some early strength. Now I was looking for a short up here, and I guess there were a couple of opportunities on the on gold in the overnight, early overnight, to get short against those levels. But after the London close kicked in, they just took the last one out and then took off to the upside. So at this point, I would stay on the long side on gold, look to buy weakness for rotations up. Looks like support held for now. And as long as they hold about 4,000, I think we are in a spot where they can take this higher. So right now, given the overnight, I'm looking at buying against the 4,030s, 32s, 4,024, 25s, 4,015s for rotations back up again. Below that 15, I would probably look for a retracement trade back here to these lows. But so these first levels, looking to buy against those for rotations up, and then we'll see if gold has reversed itself, or it's going to start kind of trade higher again, it's done selling, or if this is just a little fake out to the upside. But right now, I would stay on the long side. We have taken out those key resistance areas we talked about yesterday. And then finally, oil. Now let's say oil grinding lower. I have not traded oil too much. The net's going to be to the downside on oil. Everything they're doing right now is about more production, more oil, more energy, everything, all the above approach. And that's going to drive oil prices down. I think also this is a part of the strategy now too. They're trying even harder now to drive it down to really strangle the Russia war machine. So that's going to be the thing, and that's one of the most obvious things to kind of stop that war is to stop the funding for it, and oil prices and oil exports is the lifeblood of that conflict. So lower oil prices is going to definitely make that a lot harder. It's going to be good for us. We'll take it. But that's, I think, is the biggest strategic picture of really trying to drive down those prices. It's not easy to do. It's a supply and demand equation, which goes into this picture. But I would start off from the short side right now, as long as they hold below that 60.50 and the 60.75. If they start trading above that 60.75, I'm just going to go back range bound on it. But I'm going to be looking for further weakness on oil, see if they can challenge the 59.75s, maybe take it lower. Before we had this, the 59.90, 80 to 90 held pretty good, but they took it out in the overnight. They're back up above it, but as I said, I would look for short setups against that 60.40 and the 60.75 right now for rotations down. Above that 75, I will go back range bound on oil and just trade it as such. We're looking for that first short trade and see if they can retest these lows, potentially take it lower. So that's pretty much where we are. So range bound oil, I think biases to the downside. Gold, trade that from the long side to get started. And ES and the Nasdaq, both of those two, I would look to trade those on the long side of the market to get started. And then let's see what kind of a day we're going to get here as the day session kicks in. All right, so the level to pay attention to on the ES for any bias change is going to be the 6900s. And as I said, the 69.15 could be an opportunity for a short there as well. All right, so we'll leave it there, guys. We'll wrap it there pretty quick. We got news coming out at 8:30 that I don't think neither that's going to be really significant, but we do get 10 o'clock news, the pending home sales number, and that's going to be interesting to see how that comes out. And of course, 2 o'clock, we get some action. All right, guys. So good trading, and I will see you back at 11:30 for the next update. All right, guys, later.